right, everybody. We are live. Nerf Herder Radio here. Sorry, had a little technical difficulties. And that's not to say we won't continue those throughout the night. It sounds like I'm trying to navigate the Kessel Run myself with all the lightning going on around my house tonight. But we're here to talk about a little Star Wars, a little whatever. Nerf Herder Radio. We like to focus primarily on Star Wars, but we do branch out, and there's a couple big things to talk about this week. One on our agenda, we're going to definitely have some Star Wars stuff, but we're also going to have some Avengers Endgame conversations. So if you haven't seen Endgame, you might not want to watch our live stream. You might want to wait till we get this thing on our podcast services whenever Jason gets around to it. Also going to talk about Game of Thrones.
Hey, I just got to make sure I record the episode this time, which I'm doing this time, so we'll be good.
Okay. All right. So
that is important.
Yeah. You heard Jason right there. As always, we're going to be doing this podcast. We got a special guest on tonight. Jason's brother Brandon's going to join us. So I'm going to give him a test run, see if he wants to become a regular on the podcast or not. So if you guys think he sucks like the rest of us, be sure and let us know. We always appreciate the feedback that we never get. But anyway, we're definitely going to talk about some Star Wars, some Game of Thrones, and why am I switching to the news? We'll have to fix that. Anyway, Jason on my video just says we're jumping to hyperspace. So have you?
No, we're good, man. You okay?
All right. Well, like I said, this whole newfangled technology, it's throwing me off for a loop. So anyway, where to start, guys?
Why don't we talk about Galaxy's Edge for a little bit?
Okay, sure. So I don't know if I posted a video to the group, and there's some aerial footage of Galaxy's Edge in Orlando coming up. Just go ahead and post the link in the chat box if you would, so the rest of the audience can see it. But one of our good buddies down in Florida shared that with me. Shout out to Chase for hooking us up with that. But I'm excited for this thing to open up. I know I have a reason to go to Orlando next year, other than my daughter's going to be going to school there. But I'm planning on heading out to Galaxy's Edge around May. Try to beat the summer crowd if I can. Depends on what her schedule's like. But really excited about this thing to open up. There's a life-size Millennium Falcon there. There's a couple other ships. You get to fly the Falcon. You get to
doing like a smuggler's run thing too. I saw.
Yeah, it looks really cool. So, Jason, you guys, Brandon, I'm not sure if you went, but I know Jason went to Disney not too long ago. Are you gonna plan a trip?
Man, I want to. It's just one of those things I got to figure out the time and the budget because you have to offer up either your kidney or your firstborn for the financial impact of Disney.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not cheap, and Lord knows what the ticket prices are going to be for this thing. I can't imagine it's going to be anything less than mortgaging your house to fully get the experience. But yeah, as posted up in the chat, if you kind of look at the link, they show some aerial footage, and the city looks massive. I mean, if the life-size Millennium Falcon is anything to scale, you look at all the structures and buildings around this park, and it looks just huge.
Supposedly you'll be able to go on little adventures and stuff while you're in the park. Like they'll have missions for you to do as part of the experience living there, of being in there and staying in there.
So, and if you're a fan of the Star Wars lore and all that, this is located in Black Spire, which was mentioned in the Solo story by L3. Told Lando he couldn't find his way to Black Spire without her. It's really the only time I think it's ever been mentioned, unless it's been mentioned in books. And I know Brandon's got some books he was going to talk about. I don't know if it's mentioned in the books, but the Millennium Falcon's there. It's if I've always said if I could win the lottery and build anything, I would build a life-size replica of the Millennium Falcon just because. So the ship's always kind of been cool, near and dear to me. My office is adorned with a lot of Boba Fett stuff, but the Millennium Falcon is still the most recognizable ship in all of any sci-fi movie, and I would dare anyone to argue with me on that theory. So, $1 billion to build all this. Like you said, looks like you're gonna be able to do some adventures. Kind of, it's not just a look and take pictures opportunity. There's a story built around this. So I'm excited about that. I can't imagine that this thing's not going to have just a tremendous line for the next year anyway. So maybe May is a little too early. I might need to push it back to the fall before when I take her down to college for her sophomore year. That's the one in Orlando. Another one in Anaheim is opening up this summer. I would assume they're probably the same structure, same size, same capacity. I can't imagine they would be incredibly different. Although leave it to Disney to try to milk you out of 2 trips instead of 1. So anyway,
so one of the things I thought was really cool, just real quick about Galaxy's Edge, and Brandon hinted about it, and he might know a little more than me, but I read somewhere that, like he said, there's supposedly you can pay for like a premium experience or something, and you get immersed fully into the Star Wars world. What, like, they give you clothes and a mission, and you play like as a character in the story while you're there at Disney. Is that what you're talking about, Brandon?
Yeah, that's what I'd heard. Was it's a whole, I don't know if it's a premium experience or not, if it's just going to be available for anyone who's staying in that area of Disney, to stay in that little Star Wars world. But supposedly it's going to be something about that where you can go and you'll have experiences and missions to run around and do things in there and smuggle things around, trade with Jawas, all sorts of stuff like that going on.
Now, in these buildings, kind of around the Falcon, obviously that's a port of some sort. Are there going to be hotels? Can you actually stay in the Star Wars land?
I don't know. There's supposed to be a Star Wars area you can stay in at Disney World in Orlando. Okay. I don't know if it's going to be a part of this area as well, or if it will be a separate little, hotel they have on the outskirts, and you can travel into that Star Wars area. Gotcha. But supposedly there will be an area where you can stay, and it's like staying in a Star Wars themed area.
Okay. Wow.
Hotel. I don't know if it'll be directly, like I said, with that, or if it's going to be the theme it's supposed to carry.
Gotcha.
Apparently, choices you make as well dictate which side you're on as well. So if you're Jedi or Empire, First Order or Resistance, those types of things. So it's supposed to be, everything I've read article-wise, it's going to be like one of the full first times, I think, where Disney immerses you as the attendee into the park and into the story and what's going on. We went last time once, and the kids were they had all sorts of goofy stuff, and I was like, here, see if the Jawas want a stick of gum, or see if they want this, and sometimes they would take things, and they'd reach in their pouch and give you something back, or whatever else, but I thought that was kind of neat, too.
That's cool.
Yep.
I'm excited. I think the park's gonna be pretty awesome.
Yeah. I don't think I'll go with the first couple of years. It's going to be so packed.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's going to be stupid. I mean, I've got, one of our good friends that Jason and I play video games with lives down there in Orlando area, and he's the one that shared the link with me on Facebook, and my comment to him was I peed a little bit when I saw the pictures out of excitement. So, yeah, I'd definitely like to hear his opinion if he goes. I know the locals probably are going to steer clear of this thing for a while. Like I said, if time permitting, I'll be going in May-ish of next year. So,
cool.
And then, yeah. But anyway, not much else. We had the big announcements like we talked about last week out at the Star Wars Celebration. We had the teaser for Episode 9, the Mandalorian video. Really haven't seen much else on the Star Wars front. So, Brandon, you wanted to share your thoughts about the book that you've been reading. So, Brandon's been, go ahead and tell us what's going on there.
Okay, well, I've been reading a couple of different series they've got out right now, and these are a little bit older books, some of them, but the Star Wars Aftermath series, which is 3 books by Chuck Wendig, cover what happens right after basically Return of the Jedi and really the fall of the Empire, and it kind of hints at how the New Order forms out of that fall. But it was a really good series. It's a 3-book chronicle. our author is Chuck Wendig. I think I say it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed those series because it still wraps up a lot of the old characters I like and doesn't really have some of. Not that I don't like Rey and Finn and Poe and those characters, but a lot of my attachment, because I've read most of the old expanded universe before they didn't consider it canon anymore.
Yeah.
And this series still holds true to a lot of those guys and the other characters I have, like Wedge Antilles is in here, Akbar is in here.
Was there a trap?
That makes them still part of the canon of the story overall, just not seen anymore.
Now, one of the books is called Life Debt. Was that anything to do with Han and Chewie?
Not directly. I'm trying to remember what Life Debt was about. I just finished Empire's End last week, and it's been a while since I read Life Debt.
Okay. I was curious. I mean, because that was one of the things that I don't know if movie Solo really clarified. I mean, at what point in that movie would you consider a life debt to be made? I mean, it was
made during the movie. When Han goes to whatever that weird mining town is, that's where Chewie's people are. That's where he saves all of Chewie's people.
Right. Well, that was when they made the Kessel Run. Right? Or are you saying somewhere else?
No, yeah, that when they were making the Kessel Run, and then they end up and they're I can't remember the droid's name we just said a minute ago too.
L3.
3 causes the riot and everything, and Han helps Chewie feel those Wookiees. That's when the life debt, so to speak, forms, although it's not communicated or presented.
Okay. I mean, because I was going back and I was thinking, was it when Han pulled Chewie off when they were on trying to steal the coaxium? Is that when he called the life debt, or maybe it was when he helped him escape from the prison cell on the mud planet? I mean, yeah, okay. So if that's when it is, then yeah, they didn't articulate that very well.
Yeah, apparently Life Debt, I just pulled up the Power of the Internet. It's basically, the synopsis is Princess or General Leia is tasked with trying to find Solo, and he went missing during a mission to free the Wookiees that were enslaved back on Kashyyyk still. So that's kind of think where the tie into the life debt comes in with the Wookiee and all that stuff, and on Kashyyyk.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Do they talk about the Knights of Ren in all these books? Because that's like the big mythical unicorn. I feel like right now they got talked about in, what was it, Force Awakens, and you see this flashback.
Yeah, no, they haven't.
Mm.
It's the Knights of Ren yet that I've read. If that book's out there, I've missed it. A lot of the books they've been putting out really go back to the old Republic stuff. Like they just put a new book out, Master and Apprentice, which is by Claudia Gray, which covers it's a story about Qui-Gon and about when he was, they were Master and Apprentice.
That'd be cool. I'd like to hear. It wouldn't be a bad story to read.
Yeah, they always had I always want to read the story between Obi-Wan and young Anakin, because it sounds like from all the jokes they make in the prequel movies, there was a lot of shenanigans going on between them when he was his apprentice, when Anakin was Obi-Wan's apprentice.
Yeah,
and I think that would be a fun story to kind of, as much as anyone wants to say pay Vader in a better light, but it would pave him in what was Anakin Skywalker like before he was Darth Vader, before he made that turn to the dark side.
Yeah, because
in a very powerful Jedi.
Yeah, because I mean, the way they portray him in Episode 2 is he's just this angsty, emo-y teen, and it is very annoying. So yeah, I would love to see more of the humorous side, or even if it's Anakin was much more ambitious and just Leroy Jenkins to a lot of scenarios.
Are you saying like before Episode 1 and 2, or before 2 and 3, or all? Because wouldn't the Clone Wars show kind of fill in that gap, especially between Episodes 2 and 3?
Yeah, I would say something between Episode 1 and 2.
I just felt the Clone Wars. Oh, I'm sorry, Jay.
Oh, you're good.
Clone Wars really also created a lot of angst in a lot of ways between how Obi-Wan and Anakin were, because the Clone Wars gave Anakin Ahsoka Tano as an apprentice.
Yeah.
Anakin learning how to train an apprentice, to me, not so much, again, the shenaniganry.
Yeah.
And why is that never referenced in the... I guess that was just an oversight, but like that never gets referenced in Episode 3 as well, to me. That's also a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah. So they've said the Clone Wars animated series is canon, which makes Ahsoka his apprentice, and in Star Wars Rebel, a different animated series, Ahsoka comes back and confronts Anakin as Vader.
Yeah. And she's got like the white lightsaber or something too, right?
Right. Yeah, and she got the white lightsabers because she defeated 2 Inquisitors and used the Force to purge the red Sith crystal to make it white. What they said is how she got how her lightsabers are white, because that's not a normal color for a lightsaber to be.
Huh.
Interesting. Yeah, I never did watch Clone Wars. When that series came out, I just was not in a good place, Star Wars related. I didn't like a lot of the script and a lot of the episodes 1, 2, and 3. So I need to go back and rewatch it. Maybe when I pick up the Disney service when Mandalorian comes out, I'll go watch those again. And I haven't watched Rebels.
You can always go find it on Blockbuster too.
Yeah, I'll go look at Blockbuster. They might have it.
I really liked Rebels. I really liked the Clone Wars. I didn't get into... I'm trying to find... I can't remember what it was called. Resistance.
Yeah, that's that like where the fighter pilots and it's the cell shading stuff, right?
That's the cell shaded Empire, and this is overlapping with Force Awakens when the New Order, or the First Order, is kind of starting to come up and they're doing things.
Gotcha. Okay.
Got a couple of viewers, Carter. We got Magoats or Chase, and we got Patrick joining us. It's awesome. What's up, guys?
B, you missed your shout out, man. We talked earlier about the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and I name dropped you saying that you shared us the link. So it's in the chat box there. So appreciate the heads up on that one. Well, I've right now I'm reading the Expanse series. I don't know if you follow sci-fi, all forms of sci-fi, and when that's done, I definitely want to get back into some Star Wars books. I grew up reading a lot of the Timothy Zahn stories, The Heir to the Empire. Then there was one book, Shadows of the Empire. I remember reading that book, and some of the others, like Tales of the Bounty Hunter. So I'd like to get back into something more serial related regarding Star Wars. So I might check out these Aftermath books. I'm not a fan of the single title storylines. If it's if there's a continuing story or book 1 leads into book 2, I'll obviously check it out. But so maybe this Aftermath books might kind of fill that void. So
yeah,
okay, yeah, because I'm looking on Amazon and there's a ton of books out there. There's Thrawn Alliances, the Rise of the Star Wars, the Rise of the Empire.
The Thrawn is a series as well. They've gone real ham on Timothy Zahn again is right. That's one of his favorite characters, I think. I don't know if he's ever considered or not, but so they're doing a bunch of new books on him. I don't know why. I wish that was a character that had been introduced in or the original movies, or even see him as a character in the New Order and stuff. Because the Chiss, because that's what his race is. The blue skinned people are Chiss. I think that's how you pronounce it. And they're a very elite militaristic unit of people. It'd be really cool to see that introduced into the actual media.
Yeah.
But we don't seem to get that.
Well, obviously, if he is canon now, he survived the Battle of Endor. So was he kind of out somewhere else in the galaxy? He's not mentioned in the First Order or any of the new stuff. So
well, that's where it gets weird, because is canon, and spoiler alert, at the end of Star Wars Rebels, again, I can't think of the kid's name. Ezra, is becoming a Jedi under training with Kanan, and Ezra uses the Force and summons some kind of, like, let's say, space whales that can jump into hyperspace by themselves. And Ezra, with Thrawn on the ship with him. They wrap him on the ship with Thrawn and him, and they jump into light speed and disappear. And that's the end of the series, surmising that Kanan and Thrawn died.
Okay.
I haven't checked out this series of books about Thrawn. I don't know if it's before that event happened, after that event happened, or how it weaves in there. Does it cover how he comes back? I don't know. I haven't checked that out. I've been reading the Aftermath series, and the other cool thing I've been reading is the Darth Vader comic series, the Dark Lord of the Sith.
Yeah,
that's a really very good comic book series to pick up. It's about Darth Vader of different times and things he does. They got real funny moments in them of him doing things. It's a good series. I liked it.
Cool.
Yeah, I thumbed through it one time. When I was on a road trip. I walked into a comic store in Vancouver, Canada, and I saw it and I thumbed through it, and it looked pretty interesting. I just can't believe the price of comic books these days. I mean, I remember they were 75 cents, 60 cents. I think.
Congratulations, you just aged yourself greatly.
Oh, I know. Well, I don't think it's any mystery how old I am.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some great that animated series got some real great ones. There's and I found it on Imgur before I actually read the comic. I found the comic too, but it's got a scene where a bunch of rebels have surrounded Vader, and they're telling me, "Oh, you're surrounded," and Vader whips out the lightsaber, and it's like, "I'm surrounded by fear and dead men," and the next scene is him massacring everybody.
Yeah, nice. All right, well, it kind of wraps up our Star Wars portion. Jason, what was on the agenda next?
Well, what's on the agenda next will probably upset some people, so we're going to go ahead and do our public service announcements. We're going to talk about a bunch of spoilers between Game of Thrones, hopefully get to some Avengers Endgame. So if you haven't seen either one of those episodes, now is the time probably to mute the show and probably not tune in for the rest of the show until you've seen those. So this is your spoiler warning, spoiler alert. I'm going to kind of get something witty and get like the spoiler of a car image and have it race across the screen maybe one day. But yeah, right now we just have Buzz and Woody saying spoilers everywhere. So we can jump into Game of Thrones, which I thought by far was one of the best executed episodes in a long time since Battle of the Bastards and some other things, or we can jump into Endgame, which blew my mind as well. So where would you fellas like to navigate the waters to next?
I want to go Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I'm good with Thrones.
Because I just rewatched the episode 3, and 2, it's like Jason said, it was probably one of the best episodes ever.
I can't dispute it was really good. The only complaint I can only say about it was because they shot it at night. It's a little dark. It's hard to see sometimes.
So yeah. I did not feel that at all. I don't know
I think that was the point. I think it was supposed to be that way.
I read an article that had the cinematographers on there, and they said they'd used just fire to keep it lit for the visual effects and keep it natural. So one, it made it more menacing and dark because it was the long night in coming in at them, and they withheld it and stopped it. But I mean, maybe also the fact that my wife and I pulled our couches and chairs forward, like we were probably 6 feet from the TV instead of like across the room. And we also just got a new TV recently, so I think maybe that may have helped us. But to me, it wasn't that there was no dark light issue for me. I know there's a lot of supposedly angry people about that, but I didn't have that issue. It was an amazing episode, though.
I didn't have a problem with it being dark, but yeah, the funniest meme I saw all day was the entire world watched Game of Thrones wondering if the brightness on their TV was going out.
That's awesome.
So.
I had to dim the lights in my room to watch it successfully, to really see everything that was going on, which I didn't mind. It helped the atmosphere, but I did have to turn everything off. I couldn't have any lights on or anything because there was a glare and stuff on my TV making it where it's like, who is that? What's going on?
Yeah. No, I thought, I mean, intense episode from the get-go. Yeah, and I mean, if we're getting into spoiler territory, so if you haven't watched it, tune out now, but when
the images are now on Facebook on our stream, so you should stop watching now.
Yeah,
I think the most intense moment, if I can jump in and say it, is the 5 minutes where HBO Go went down and about 2 million people freaked out.
I never had that issue either. But that is awesome.
I think in the UK it crashed HBO Go.
That's hilarious.
Somewhere they said that they crashed HBO Go for like 5 minutes.
I know it paused on us for a minute, but it didn't crash or go down. So
some people got that. We're experiencing interruption. We're working diligently to repair it.
I didn't get that. So got good internet here again. It's just super intense episode.
We had a lot of deaths and everything.
Yeah. When Melisandre shows, the funny thing about the episode is they started out with a little bit of hope. Melisandre shows up and she tells Jorah to tell the Dothraki to raise their swords, and she lights them on fire, and then everyone's like, okay, yeah, we got this. We got this.
Yep.
And then the Dothraki take off, and it's just one by one. It's just the flames.
I don't understand why they took off. It's like, dude, do you know what you're up against? Why are you racing out there to meet them?
Well, so I didn't realize. I guess that's the thing that freaked me out more than anything else. When you talk about, like, literally they were fighting death. That's what was coming after them, was death, and they're charging off. Go ahead.
Scenes where they're it shows them looking like some of the wildlings look over at the Unsullied, and you can see the horde just like climbing over them and engulfing them.
It was like it was more. It wasn't even just a horde of people. It was like a wave, like in the World War Z. Right. Essentially, is one of the articles I saw. But there's just this wave of people, and they're charging at this tsunami of death coming at them, and I thought it was epic. They pan back, and you see him, and it looks like a dragon or an arrow charging into the against them. And Ghost is with him. Did Ghost die? We don't know. We didn't see Ghost die. Officially, I was gonna say I don't know.
He's in the teaser for next episode.
Oh, is he? I didn't see him.
Yeah, somebody frame captured the teaser and they show him, so he's alive.
So I want Ghost to do something really cool. He's the last direwolf of the Stark family, because Nymeria is, we don't know where. I guess out in the woods somewhere still. But that I was just like, oh, I'm waiting for Ghost to do something awesome. Hasn't happened yet. But you had the Dothraki wave, and then you had the Unsullied army trying to hold them off, and the storm hits, because at that point they were about to go blast all the generals of the White Walkers and probably kill a large amount of them.
Mm-hmm. And it wouldn't have worked.
So I don't know.
Work on the Night King.
But see, we don't know, because he's not the Night King. Jon's hacked one away when they were trying to capture one, and it killed a couple of them when he had the Valyrian steel.
He used Valyrian steel, which is the same way Arya, since we're doing spoilers, killed the Night King.
Which was awesome.
Oh, dude. Well, okay. There's a point in the show, and I did some research after this, because Shay, another one of our good friends, pointed out to me. I was talking to him today about it. When Arya and Beric and Hound are running through the halls of Winterfell, and they run into that chamber where Melisandre is. Yeah. And they have that Melisandre and Arya have that conversation. It's like, we've met before, and she said, I look into your eyes and I see many eyes are closed, green eyes, brown eyes, and blue eyes. And they had that conversation in like season 4.
Yep.
So I did some research on this. So, they basically said in season 4, Melisandre told Arya that she's going to kill the Night King.
Yeah. It was the prophecy was foretold back then. Now, there's also I saw a video about that too. It was interesting. They said, now, Brown Eyes has she killed? Probably a lot. There was Littlefinger. There was the person who
well, you got to figure that
the brothel
of the
and
main
stuff.
Of the main people she's killed, you got Walder Frey,
Brown Eyes,
and Littlefinger,
Brown Eyes, and the dude she killed at that brothel scene too, Brown Eyes. Who has she killed, if anybody, with green eyes? And the only person with green eyes that's
Cersei
alive.
Lannister.
Exactly. So is she going to end up killing Cersei as well?
But the prophecy that Cersei got is she'll have 3 children and they'll all die, which has come true. And then then it says the Valancourt will kill you, which Valancourt means little brother. Mm-hmm. So if the prophecy is what it is and it does come true, Jamie. It can be Jamie's got to be the one that killed her.
Now, let me ask you this though: could Jamie die and Arya take Jamie's face and kill her? And the prophecy, we don't, does the prophecy know that it's really not Jamie?
My only question is the many-faced god change your physical appearance? Because Jamie's like 6 foot tall and Arya's not.
Yeah, remember she dressed as Walter Frey and she looked just like him and walked and everything.
I don't remember. I mean, I remember she did. I remember she did that. I don't know. But anyway, those two pieces, Cersei's prophecy and then this conversation with Arya and Melisandre I thought was really interesting.
Yeah. So I thought Beric dying, how he died, was pretty cool. I love all the jokes too. They're like, "This is why you have a tank on your team. This is why you have an awesome rogue on your team." But like, I mean, he literally, chucks his flaming sword at the White Walker, grabs Arya, and then gets cut they cut his Achilles, I think, and he's still running along,
stabbing him in the legs, yeah.
And then they're prison shanking him in the corner, and then he's blocking them all getting stabbed, and it's just like, dude, how many hits are you gonna take? And then of course they go into the room and Melisandre's in there, and I was like, okay, is she gonna revive him? And then she says the line of like his prophecy or his whatever.
The Lord of Light brought him back for a purpose.
And that purpose has been complete. And you're like, dang. But, I mean, Arya just was freaking awesome with the crazy detachable bow staff, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think, she there was, going back and looking at it, and you look at the prophecy, and you look at even just episode 2, she's like, I've seen death. He has many faces, and she's throwing everything, and I can't wait to meet this one. It's like there was so much foreshadowing there that just led to that scene. And I'm really curious now, because they say there was two major plot twists that nobody's going to expect to see. I have a feeling Arya killing the Night King is one.
Yeah.
I have a feeling the other will be, I will be very surprised if either Snow or Daenerys take the throne, honestly.
What do you mean, that there's two plot twists from from this episode or the season?
Beinhoff and Weiss have said that there are two plot twists, two major twists nobody is expecting to see occur in this series, this last season. That and I'm assuming they're not telling them where they are or what they are, but they are saying there's two major ones. And I have a feeling Arya was one of those, because everybody was expecting it, because it's been built up, the Night King Jon Snow rivalry the whole time, and yet Jon was bowing up to a zombie dragon.
Which, that brings me to my next point. Jon was a no-show in this episode. In the biggest battle of the show, I think Jon was a no-show.
He breathed some fire on some people, and that's about it. That's
about it. I mean, when he's chasing down the Night King, I mean, throw your sword at him. Do something. You're kind of sulking behind him, and then obviously the Night King raises the army back of all the people that were fighting for Jon. Now Jon has to kill them all. But then he kind of no-showed against the Night King. I think he was afraid.
I wanted to see Jon, taunt the Night King. Can't do it yourself. Can't face
exactly.
me.
You and me, man, one-on-one. Let's do this.
Yeah. So
they did a good job of foreshadowing so many fake outs of people's deaths. There were several times I thought Brienne and
Jamie.
Jamie
I thought they all died.
Sam was going to buy it several times. But personally, to me, I'm not sure if I want to commit to it or not. But MVP to me is still Theon, because he stood in that what's it called, by himself at the end and took everything out.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean,
Leslie Jones calls him
Theon. I wanted him to get to at least stab the Night King and not do anything, and then Night King kill him.
Yeah, like Dragon Glass didn't do anything. That would have been awesome.
Well, so
I think he deserved that.
Of all the named characters that died, we had Jorah, Theon,
Lyanna Mormont.
Yeah, the after show talked about that really well, and I thought it was, if you guys watched it, what they said was she was basically a one scene character, and she delivered that scene so powerfully that they had to make more scenes for her in the show, and she's like a crowd favorite. And so when you got the littlest person on the show, going face to face with a giant and taking down one of the most powerful creatures on the show, I mean, it's kind of a poignant way to go for her. I think they did her character justice.
Yeah, but I think it's interesting when you think about the houses too that have fallen in this series, and some of it you have to point back to honestly, all because of Littlefinger and the dagger and the plot to try to get the throne and rise to power because he's a douche. But you know, House Mormont's gone. House Tarly's basically gone. I don't know if Sam does really have a right to claim because he's taken the black. So
I think the gone now.
Yeah,
there's no reason for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, Daenerys.
I think in that regards, I think Sam's going to be able to rebuild House. What is he, Tully?
Tarly.
Yeah, but I think he's going to be the Grand Maester.
Yeah, he'll be. Yeah, again, that's taken on a. But yeah, I think but there's House Umber.
So many houses.
Yeah, all of these houses are gone, just wiped out.
The Boltons are gone.
Yeah.
They're there's a lot of, and then you got, what else do you have down south? I mean, the Tullys, the Tyrells.
Yeah. The Sand People, what were they? The
Dornish.
Dorns, yeah, the Dornish.
So the name people, let's say we got Theon, Jorah, Lyanna,
Melisandre, Beric, Ed Tullett.
I wonder if one of the big twists they're going to show us is going to be thinking about it is the chick from Dorne that's locked in the basement where Cersei
that's right. She is still alive. The daughter might be dead.
I wonder if she's going to come out at the end and she's going to be a surprise, like killed a Cersei or something.
Who's that? What daughter?
Who's the chick from Dorne that was married to Oberyn?
Yeah. Prince Oberyn's wife. Remember they got captured, and the wife and daughter, and Cersei kissed the daughter and poisoned her.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
I want to see Clegane Bowl.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get to
Everyone
see
wants to see that, and I think it's going to be anticlimactic. I think it's not going to blow us away.
I think they'll basically kill each other. I don't think, Mountain will kill Hound, but Hound will cut his head off or something. They're both.
I have a feeling Mountain might just kill him. I mean, that's very Game of Thrones. Just like he just walks up and he's talking to him. You're ugly face, son of a, blah blah blah. He's just gone.
I could see that happening.
So, I'm very excited. I'm bummed we only have 3 episodes left. Lots to cover still in it.
And here's my big question. Dany lost most of her army.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how she's going to retake the throne at this point. She's lost so much of her army.
My theory on that is, well, okay, so there are some people at the Iron Island that, Theon's sister said, "We'll wait when you're going to go take. We'll be there when you need to retake King's Landing." I don't know how many people they have.
Yep.
So, I think my personal opinion is I think Jaime is going to show up. They're going to be on the battlefield, and Jaime's going to say, to the Lannister army, she's a fraud. She's an usurper. She backed out. She left you all to die. Had we not been able to defeat the White Walkers, and I think the Lannister army is going to turn on her and take Jaime's side.
What about oh god, I can't think of his name. He's the little
sword.
He's the sellsword that got that was Tyrion's buddy. Bronn, thank you.
Of the Blackwater.
Yeah. What's going on with Bronn? Was paid basically to go off Tyrion and Jaime. What's going to happen there? Is he going to do it?
No,
I don't think so. I think he's got. I don't know about Jaime. I believe he's got good loyalty to Tyrion though, and I don't think he's going to do it.
Well, like Tyrion always says, whatever they're paying you, I'll double it.
I think Tyrion and Sansa are going to hook up together, and I think Sansa and Arya and the
Gendry,
Robert's bastard.
Gendry.
Well, they already have.
No, but I mean, like I think they're going to make it to the end, and that's going to set up new houses.
Yeah,
Tyrion and Sansa are going to end up together because they've seen some stuff together. Sansa's really developed that character over the seasons, and I think her and Tyrion are about the same, and I think they would get along well together. And Arya and Robert's bastard, I think, will hook up well together as well and be a force going forward.
Now, is he whatever the bastard name is for that area? Is he still considered a bastard? Because they all have last names. So like Bastard of the North was Snow.
The ones over in Dorne were Sand.
Yeah. So what is his true family name, or does he basically does whoever sits on the throne basically, declare him Baratheon, so the Baratheon family can?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that it's just like he was from the house, but oh gosh, the guy who made Reek, that he took Sansa. Ramsay. Yeah, Ramsay. Roose made him a Bolton officially. He goes, you're not a Bolton. You're no longer a Snow. You're a Bolton. So
right, but that was the leader of the house. There is no leader of the House Baratheon.
Right.
So I mean,
all right. So here's
white boy bastards.
Yeah. So here's how it works. So if they're in the Reach, that's the flowers. If they're in the Western Lands, it's hills. Iron Islands, they're pikes. The Riverlands are rivers. Dornish are sand. The North of the snow. The Vale are stone. Stormlands, thorns, and the Crown Lands, waters. So waters was King's Landing. So Gendry would be Gendry Waters.
Yeah. Or does he somehow get declared Baratheon for House Baratheon? I think they should, because it's still a prominent sigil in the show.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But
oh yeah.
So who do you guys think? Who was MVP last night?
I'm with you. I think it was Theon. I think Theon has been redeeming himself in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And I think Sunday night was basically the culmination of Theon admitting his wrongs, atoning for that, and then dying to protect Ned Stark's children, which was, what he was tasked to do when he was Ned's squire or whatever. I think he fulfilled his obligation to Ned Stark.
I don't know. I'm torn. I want to say Arya, but that's just a given. But I would say when in the clutch moment, Arya. But MVP, I'm gonna have to give it to the ones we didn't see that much of. Maybe Beric or like Jaime, Gendry, the ones that were just hacking and slashing the whole time.
I think the show didn't do a good job, either to me, of showing why the Hound was hiding. It took me a while to figure out that, it's the fire.
Yeah.
That's why he's hiding. I don't feel like the show really walked me through that very well. And there's a lot of things now where it's like they're not hand feeding you anything anymore. It's you've got to remember episode 4,
right.
Scene 3.
Yeah.
To go back and go like, what is that? Why is that happening?
Yeah, and they have to do it. You got to think about it. They only had 6 episodes. They're a little more. I think most of them are at this point are like a little bit an hour and some change long, and they just don't have the time to do the flashbacks. And
I know.
I get it, but at this point, if you're watching the season finale and you don't know what's going on, you probably should just stop and go watch the rest of the earlier seasons.
Yeah, you got 69 episodes to rewatch.
Yep.
Was that all? I thought you wanted me to do something.
Yeah. Well, this week's was episode 70 of the entire show. So.
That's
so
crazy.
who at the end of the series, who sits on the Iron Throne?
I don't know. I think they're really paving Danny here lately, especially with that last in episode 2 of this season with him going on Jaime, that they're really starting to paint her to me like a mad king.
Well, she proved that she can't do much without a dragon.
That's true.
She when she got out there with Jorah, she was panicking, kind of freaking out.
Yeah, I don't see Daenerys taking the throne. Whether or not how that ends up, does that mean that she relinquishes it to? I don't think Jon Snow's going to end on the throne. I don't think Daenerys or Snow end on the throne. I honestly think And I only say it because I think there are some off-camera discussions that have happened, like with Tyrion and Bran, when they were sitting there. He's like, too bad, if we were only stuck in the middle of winter with a warm fire and, nothing to do. I have a feeling there's some conversations that have happened, and Bran is masterminding some things more than we like to let on. And maybe I'm wrong, but I want to say Tyrion maybe. Sansa's going to stay in the north. She's going to stay in the north.
I think my red herring to do it will be Sansa.
Yeah. Tyrion or Sansa are my picks, I think.
I could see that. I mean, I could see Tyrion and Sansa. Yeah, Sansa's going to be Lady Winterfell. That's where she wants to be. She's not going to leave the north.
After what happened to her being the chamber pot for 7 seasons, no, she's going to stay in the north where she has protection.
But I could see Tyrion, but I don't. If it's him, it goes against everything he's done. He's never been about claiming power.
Well, I don't think it's about claiming power. If he were to take the throne, I think it's more of this is just the. I have a feeling Jon Snow's going to die and won't take the throne.
See, I don't think Jon's going to die, but I think Daenerys will.
Just curious if Jon, by the end, is going to live to his name and no longer be Jon Snow, but be Aegar Targaryen.
Right.
That's another good question.
Maybe he's going to go and rule a Dragonstone. Sansa will end up running Winterfell, and Tyrion, because he's a Lannister, that Lannister is the last house that's set on the throne. Assuming Dany's not going to take it, and he's the next Lannister, so he should have right to the throne.
Or is it Jaime?
I don't think Jaime's going to make it out. I got a bad feeling Cersei's gonna sing the
mountain on him.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance of that. I think what's interesting, we've seen this vast change in Jaime when you look at him from episode 1 when he comes in and he's got the golden army or golden armor and the hair and the hands and the ooh.
The things we do for love.
And he's got the craziness of that. And then you see him just progress through just season 2. He loses his hand, he's a broken man there, and then he kind of he redeems himself as a father, or tries to, with his daughter, and then she dies, and then Cersei comes back on the scene and kind of messes with his head a little bit, and then he realizes what's happening, and like he said, he made that vow to to survive. I think that we've seen this change in him. However, he does state clearly, I did what I did for my house and for my family, and I would always do it again. So I have a feeling at the end of the day, he's going to be loyal to the Lannister name above and all. And what that means, I don't know, but I don't think he's going to live. I don't think that it's set up that way, but I have a feeling he's going to have an interesting arc in these next 3 episodes. I could be wrong.
Or maybe he goes back and what is the Lannister house?
Lannisport, Casterly Rock.
Casterly Rock.
Maybe he ends up going back and running Casterly Rock, and Jon's on Dragonstone, and I don't know who's gonna. Sansa's gonna take Winterfell, but you still got big houses like who's gonna do the Vale?
Jon Arryn's up there.
Jon Arryn's up there.
He wants to just throw people through the sky window.
Right. So who's going to take over for the Vale?
Or what if they basically all decide the 7 kingdoms are independent? There is no Iron Throne.
And King's Landing goes away.
That would be a big twist at the end to dissolve the Iron Throne and dissolve King's Landing. Because King's Landing only exists because it's where the Iron Throne is.
Yep. Daenerys could go back and roll over on Marine and all that.
Well, I think she'd stay in Dragonstone.
Yeah, but you got Snow.
If she lives. I mean, I could see that happening. And the other faction we haven't considered are the Dorne people of Dorne. Do they have any soldiers left that would come to Jon's aid?
I think they're going to send assassins for John. I don't think they have a big army they're going to send. I'm curious if he's going to get any, like, here's a group of our assassins, and maybe it won't be as bad as that last time we saw those 3 girl assassins, because that was just a terribly choreographed fight.
Yeah. They were hot, but couldn't fight for shit.
You want hot, or do you want capable fighters? We have one or the other. Take a pick.
Yeah.
Well, spoiler warning, in Avengers, they had capable fighters there.
They were hot, too. The A-Team, or whatever they call them.
Hey, Steve, on your left.
Yeah, I think we'll, I want to save Avengers talk for next week. I think we've gone about an hour tonight.
Yeah, we'll give everybody a stay a pardon for another week to watch Avengers.
Yeah, I know some people haven't seen it yet, so we'll shelve Avengers for next week. But
I think after next episode of Game of Thrones, we're really going to kind of see where they're going to go with things. Because if they follow the same format of the first 3 episodes, we have the beginning of what's going to be the final battle. We're going to have the building of the final battle, and then the last episode will be the final battle and the results.
I have a feeling next episode will be the build, episode 5 will be the battle, and episode 6 will be a complete wrap.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I have a feeling because, and I say that because there's a lot they need to close out. They'll need a good amount of time to do that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If you go back and rewatch the preview for next week, there's one scene where Daenerys is giving her big speech about how she's going to go pull out Cersei, root and stem, and all that, and you look behind her, and Tyrion isn't there. Varys is there, and her little, handmaiden girl is there.
Melisandre?
Melisandre, whatever. She's there, and Varys is standing next to her. Varys doesn't have the hand pin on, but no Tyrion.
Huh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I was watching that, and I was like, oh, no Tyrion.
I'll have to go back.
Here's the only big question I have for the preview of the next episode. When we last saw King's Landing was, to me, really when Jaime was leaving, and it had just started to snow.
Yeah.
When we see this next episode, it doesn't look like it's snowing at all. So the only question I have is, does the Night King have anything to do with these long winters they experience?
I would imagine so.
And so is it not going to be a bad winter anymore? And is that going to change some aspect of Cersei's thought process, or maybe even realizing that, hey, they must have won because winter suddenly just faded away?
Possible.
I don't know. I just had that random thought. I want to throw that out there before we ended tonight, because that's been one of my big quandaries of, it doesn't look like it's snowing anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't look cold, that's for sure. I mean, yeah, when Jaime was leaving at the end of last season, it was like fall weather coming. So
yeah, winter was coming there.
Yeah,
they had heavy wraps on and stuff, and now they don't.
Yep. She's also not wearing her black armor anymore, if you've noticed too. Cersei isn't.
It's like she's over mourning or whatever she was mourning.
Well, her armor was more of, I think, a protection and a defense, because I think, and she was ready for battle. And at this point, I think she feels like she's won, because she's probably realizing all the little birds have said there is no army, there is no this, and she has the Golden Fleet and the Cell Swords and 20,000 men, but no elephants, and so she's ready to do that.
I wonder if Bravos is going to take over the King's Landing.
I don't know.
As a way to get their money back.
But Carter, do you think we'll get a trailer before the episode?
What?
He hates me.
Aquaman.
Yeah. So, Brandon, you don't know this, but Carter basically made we're talking about Star Wars, and Episode 9 trailer came out, and he said, I wonder if the trailer is going to come out before the movie, and we haven't let him let it go yet.
Yeah.
And I never will.
It's good to have friends.
Yeah, it's the one time Jason can dog me on something. I've been dogging on him for 8 years, so enjoy it.
I will. I relish in it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think that counts as a wrap for me. Carter or Brandon, y'all got anything else y'all want to add?
No. My brother just joined. Hey, no, I think, we talked about the Star Wars stuff. Thanks for, sharing some of the books. I want to get into those once I finish the Expanse novels. I'm about almost done. I know. If you haven't read them, I recommend it. It's a good sci-fi story that's not just totally space wizards and dragons, but there is an era a feel of some supernatural to it, mixed in with some good physics to describe space travel. But I definitely want to pick up something else to read once I'm done with these. They're on Audible and Amazon. They're pretty good. Then Galaxy's Edge looks like it's going to be Disney World for the big kids, and I can't wait for that. And then
it's gonna be awesome.
And then we spent 30 minutes talking about the longest, best Game of Thrones episode of all time. So I think we'll save Avengers for next week. That way, if there's people listening that want to go see it, we can give them a stay. But I mean, you got 7 days if you're a listener to go see Avengers. Otherwise, we're going to talk about because there's a lot. Oh
my gosh, there's so much.
I mean, and that might even give me a chance to go see it again, just to fill in the gaps. I saw in theaters and didn't go to the bathroom. I purposely didn't drink anything all morning. I went to the 9 a.m. show Saturday morning to go see it. And believe it or not, it was sold out at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Dude, everyone I wanted to go see, I haven't been able to get my entire family into it, and it's ridiculous. And we're gonna try to go. We're gonna think about pulling the kids out of school and be like, "Hey, you're done with all the tests and stuff. Let's go do this." And no, it wasn't gonna work. But
yeah, so I mean, I was a lone guy. I got in. I didn't have any problems. Didn't drink anything all morning. Made it so I don't have to wonder if I missed anything in the bathroom breaks. But we will be talking about it a week from tonight. So, I mean, as we always say, we appreciate anyone stopping by and listening. We do this for our fans. Make sure you follow us on Facebook or Twitter at Nerf Herder Radio. Drop us some feedback, drop us some likes, tell us if there's anything you'd like us to talk about or anything, or if you'd like to be a guest participant on the show. We're always, looking for a different opinion. So, you can find me on Twitter at big_dues. Jason, they find you at No Says I. And Brandon, I don't know if you have a Twitter, so go ahead and shameless plug if you do have a Twitter account.
You can find me at Fallen123.
There you go. So, Fallen123. So, go ahead and hit us up on Twitter. I promise I don't talk politics on Twitter. I barely, on the Nerf Herder Radio, we won't talk politics. On my personal page, I may have an opinion or two about something, but we'll save that for another conversation. That's about it. The Force will be with you always.
Also with you.